Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Is my screen and audio is audible? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Today we will discuss uh, how to create models and how to use environment and everything. We will be looking after everything by looking into the system directly. From today onwards, you need to practice on the system so that you will get more clarity when you are doing in the system itself. If you are facing any problems, you can approach us as and when it is required. So today we will be discussing more first on environment creation. Environment creation is nothing but in backend it will be created as info area. Second is we will create one dimension. This is a test dimension. Backend it will be created as info object. Third, we will create a model. It created it as info cube. Fourth, we will do the SAP BPC IMG configuration. Mr. Uday is asking, Ravi has sent a login. Could you please show us how to log in using the same? Actually, what is that login? Is it a web URL link or what?
No, it's not a web URL. That's why I'm a bit confused. So if you give your email ID, I can send you what he sent me so that we know how to log into.
The URL I think Ravi will be sharing with you because I'll not be I have not seen that. Anyway, after this session I will talk to Ravi and I will see whether it is working from my end, whether I'm having that access to that or not.
So what you are saying, he sent it to the login only to us and he hasn't shared that thing to you.
No. Actually, I have been given a separate login ID and password with all the administration rights and everything. I have to check what the mail has been sent to you because I have not received any mail from them. So I have
That's
to
why
check
I'm
first.
saying if you can share your email ID, I can send you that email so you can take a look parallelly. You will also have a word with him, but to discuss with Ravi for you, you will have some background info that what I received.
Yeah, 1 minute. I will look into that.
If you can put your email ID in the chat window, I can send you the email.
Yeah, I'm just checking the. Not received anything. Okay, 1 minute. I'll stop my sharing and I will again come back into this. I'll check my mail. I have sent my mail.
Where in the chat window?
Yeah, in the chat window.
Okay, so I am sending you that mail what I received from him. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Because it's pretty hard for us to understand because he is
Yeah,
giving
and
some other
yeah,
details
and
and you are
sure.
covering something else in the class. So that way then we fall behind you. That is my fear. Just now I sent no subject lines, so you can open it easily.
Okay, one. I'll just.
If you want, you can check the window also. I pasted out it in the window as well.
Yeah, I'm just checking because when I'm connecting, it is directly connecting it to my remote desktop. I'm just checking with that user ID which has been shared.
Yeah, you can use my user ID, whatever he has given, 62 or whatever. In the remote desktop, I do see my user ID, whatever he has given, 62, but
Okay,
I don't
one
know what.
minute. I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, for for me it is logging in
So can you
with you.
just show us, I mean, how you are logging into it so that we understand it? I may not be knowing what to go, where to go. That's what I
Yeah,
want to help.
sure. One
You
minute.
can show the screen and follow the path. That way I can do the same thing then.
Yeah, the same mail which you got, I also got. 1 minute, I will go into that and I will share you. First, I
Yeah,
will share my screen.
yeah. So start from the beginning when he is saying do this,
Sure.
so that then we can see it.
Now, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. First, we have to go into run.
Yeah.
In run, you have to type mstst
Mhm.
tsc Then it will ask like this. You have to give your IP address, log into erp.ath.cx semicolon 3344.
Okay.
Then you have to press the connect. When you press the connect, since mine is already activated, I have already given the user ID and password. It will not ask. Otherwise, it will ask you for a user ID and password.
Mm-hmm.
You have to click on use another account. If you are having your own Windows account, you have to click on another account. And
Okay.
then give the Windows user ID BPC user 62 and Windows password log into ERP123 that L is caps.
Correct. So the main screen comes with the remote login. Can you go to that remote login screen where you log?
Yeah, I'm just showing that.
Yeah.
You have to press S.
Okay.
Then this will open to this RDP.
Correct. Till now I am getting until here. Now what?
Yeah, now you have to go to BPC web. Here you are seeing the icon, right?
Okay.
BPC web. It will open this home screen.
Mm-hmm.
Here you have to give your credentials. I am typing for you your credentials.
Okay.
This is the screen which you will get.
Okay.
I think this is your user ID, right? 62.
Correct. Correct.
So like this you will get it.
Okay, I understand now because I was clicking something else. I knew I was doing something.
Okay.
Thing. So now it's good thing. Thank you. I appreciate this one.
Okay, I am logging out from your ID and I am logging into my ID.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, please, because they may be checking who's logging, why double logging is there.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Krishna?
Yeah.
Krishna? Yeah, this is Asif. When I was clicking on that, can you log in again? Can you click on the URL again?
Yeah. 1 minute, I will do it.
Okay.
Yeah. This one, BPC web. Yeah. Here you have to type.
Oh, wait a second. Mine was not working. 1 second.
So this is where we are doing the configurations?
Yeah. This is the place where we will be doing the configuration. This is called BPC Planning and Consolidation Administration screen.
1 second. I don't have that icon when I log in.
Which icon?
That BPC web, I don't have that icon when I log in.
I am not sure on what was given to you.
Let's continue with that and I'll talk to you after the class.
Yeah, that would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. As we are discussing, today we will be discussing how to create an environment and how to create a dimension. We will create a test dimension and we will see in the back end how it will be created, and we will create a model and see how it is created as an input tube. And before everything in the BPC will be user interface level settings only. There is no need to go into the backend system and do the settings, but you have certain settings like the statistics. All those settings needs to be set at your BW system level. There are only 2 settings that needs to be set up at BW system level. We will see what are all the things that needs to be set up at BW system level. Then we will see the basic security settings. First we will discuss these things, then based on the time we will go ahead and we'll check other things in our today's session.
So Asif is right, Krishna. Even I am not getting that icon. Only I think you are getting that icon.
Oh, okay. Which was given to me.
I think, Krishna, you can also reach there through SAP logon icons as well. So I think Uday and Asif, you can try that, because I also don't have it, but I was able to get through another way, you know.
No, I tried that SAP logon icon, but then what happens is it asks you for enabling the JavaScript, and then when I try to enable it, I'm not authorized to do that.
Oh, okay, so I guess I had some problems also, but I think Ravi set that up right, you know. So Ravi is the person to go to.
Krishna, that should be in the start menu too, start menu of program, because it's a link coming out of there, or under C program. So
Sorry?
it should be under start program, or under, we can go under C and look at out program, under from there we can bring the link out. So it's more than one place.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can go into the this URL and you can type that link also directly here. If you see this link, you can copy it, and if you are having that link only, you can go ahead and do that.
Can you paste that link in the chat window so we can check it out?
No, actually this is my user ID link, so it will not be open for you, this link. And the port enablement will be different for different locations.
Okay.
After this class, you can contact Ravi and he will help you on these things. Okay, going into the syllabus, first we'll be given with the environmental shell when we first load the BPC system, and when we see first in the implementation stage, we will be having only this thing, which is called environmental shell. Environmental shell is nothing but your 1000 company code or something like what you do in your ECC system. It is predefined by SAP BPC, which you should not touch the environmental shell at all. Whatever the changes you need to do, you have to do it in your copied environmental shell. Once you copy the environmental shell, you will get everything what you require as a outer view of the dimensions, and everything will be copied into the new environmental shell, where depending upon your implementation requirement, you can configure whatever the changes that are required into the new copied environmental shell. You see here, you are having two things like manage all environments or change environment. If you click change environment, you will be asked to connect to any other environment which is created already. If you select manage all environments, you will be displayed with all the environments, and you can select this one and you can select the copy button.
Can you do that one more time again? Sorry. Cancel
Yeah.
and do it. Sorry.
Okay. You will be coming into this administration page from here. Once you click here, this is the place where we do all our customizations. We'll come to this screen. In this screen, you will be having two options: change environment and manage environments. If you are working on multiple environments, you can connect to multiple environments using this button. If you want to copy the environment first you have to come to this. This is the environmental shell which is provided by the SAP. Okay, this you have to select it, and you are having these options like change status, change description, user activity, set template version. First you have to copy it to your new version. I'll copy it as BPC _ 2013. BPC _ 2013 _ test environment. And here it will ask whether you want to copy with along with the data in the models, along with the web documents and documents. Generally, data in the models is not prescribed, because when you are copying into the new version, you don't want the existing data needs to be copied, because what happens is once the existing data is copied into your new system, suppose if you want to delete some unwanted things for which data is already existing in the system, you cannot delete those things. So it is not at all recommended when you copy the environmental shell first time, uncheck this data in models button, because it will come with the data, and if that data is not required for your implementation project, and if you want to delete that master data, you cannot able to delete that. So it's always recommended to not to check this data in models box and use the copy functionality. And if you see the details, it will show how it is running in the backend system, what is the things that are being created in the backend system. So here if you see, there is one thing called creation of environment info area. This is what we have discussed. Whenever you create a new environment, it will be created as an info area in your backend BW system automatically. You need not do anything separately to create this info area. Once the info area is created, under that dimensions will be copied. After dimensions, models will be copied. Everything will be copied into the BPC new environment. And this will take time when you do the first copy in your BPC environmental shell. It will take time. Actually, when first thing when we create an environment, we have to first, after creation of environment, we have to create the required dimensions in the dimension library first. Depending upon your requirement or your project requirements, you will create the dimensions which are required for your project. Suppose you are dealing with 3-4 models at a time, you may require some user-defined dimensions that needs to be created, like product or business division or segment or a profit center or a cost center, which needs to be created by the user as a user-defined dimension or any other dimension. That needs to be created first, and then only you can go ahead and create the models. Because once the dimensions are fixed in this model, it is not recommended to change the dimensions in the model once it is fixed and you start your customizing things in your model. Like creation of your logics, input templates and reports. Once you have fixed this model and dimension list, you cannot change the models. It is not at all recommended. So every model will have these 4 mandatory dimensions. Account, entity, time,
So Krishna,
category.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so Krishna, are you saying that before you start designing your models, that you need to have your dimensions pretty much spelled out? So that's assuming that all the requirements are done and you can figure out all the dimensions. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Once you have done your blueprinting, you will be having a basic idea of what dimensions are required in your application, in your model. So first you need to fix the dimensions in your dimension library, then go ahead and create the models. That is all that is always the recommended version of doing it.
Okay.
Because once you freeze your blueprint, in blueprint itself you will specify what are all the models that are required for creating a model. What are all the mandatory dimensions that are required for creating that? So you have to give security also for each model. So in that also you have to specify what is the secure dimension, what is not the secure dimension. So the dimension list will be freezed at the blueprint stage itself. So when it comes to us as a consultant who is working on the blueprint, he will be knowing what are all the dimensions that needs to be created. First he has to create the dimensions. You can add the master data at any point of time in the middle also, but creation of dimensions should be freezed.
I guess if they change the dimensions later on, it would be part of a change control then?
No, actually what happens is the structure of the cube will get disturbed.
Right.
Like suppose you are having 5 dimensions now, and you have built something on your model, like some script you have performed and everything. At that time all your script and everything is running on 5 dimensions. Now you added one more dimension. All those scripts that are working on the back end will go for a toss. So those things will not work. So it's always recommended you use you fix the dimension first and then start your implementation.
Got it. Got it. Thank you, Krishna. Good point.
Yeah. It's taking a lot of time.
While it is copying, so there is also GUI based BPC, right? Can we do the same copy on the GUI based BPC as well?
No, actually once it is copied, then only we can go back, go into the backend system and see it.
No, backend I understand. Backend is your BW, correct?
Yeah, right.
So I'm saying in the logon what they provided, there is one BPC GUI logon as well.
BPC GUI logon is nothing but your backend BW system only.
Oh, so that's not in reality what you are showing us. This has to be done on the web only.
Yeah, this what we are seeing will be your user interface, the front-end system. The back-end SAP GUI will be your BW system only.
Oh, okay, understood. Thank you.
Here if you see a model copy is completed, dimension copy is completed. Now it is copying all other components.
So Krishna, this is Asif.
Yeah.
Quick question on when you said that you have to have dimension because before creating the model, there is no like a reorg kind of functionality or anything like that in BPC?
What is exactly meant by rework?
Reorganization meaning like if something is added later on the models, I mean,
okay.
So models need to have the first time when you create the model, you have to have all the dimensions ready. I mean, if there is a change then, or if you want to add later, what do you do? Delete the model and then create new one?
No, it is not recommended to add once you start your customizing activities. Like suppose you have created your scripting. How in BPC works is you have to work on all the dimensions at a time. When you are doing the scripting also, you have to use all the dimensions. You have to specify what dimension needs to become in the scripting. So all your scripting and everything will be based on your, say suppose you have created 5 dimensions, it will be on 5 dimensions only. Suppose now you have added a new dimension, it cannot, the script cannot run on the 6th dimension. So one dimension should not be blank. It should be having certain value. Then only all your record will be stored. So it is not at all recommended to create a dimension in the middle of the model implementation and all. That's why it is not at all recommended in BPC.
So what if we want to change something new? So
Actually, what he is asking is in sometimes in some implementations it may require when you are doing some logic testing, you may require the creation of additional dimensions. At that time, what we will do is we have to rewrite all the scripts which has been already created, and then only you can add a new dimension. But it is not at all always recommended. You have to stick to your blueprint. So okay, we will go into one environment, and we will we are changing the environment from environmental shell to another environment. We will click on this. Yeah. Now if you see, we have been logged into BPC_123. Under BPC_123, you are having all these dimensions. And these are the models that are available in your BPC_123. Now you will see how to create one dimension. We'll create a new dimension called test. You have to press on the new dimension. Here you are having the options like which type of dimension this is. These are the standards given by SAP. You cannot change this type of the dimension because based on the type of dimension, it will have some inherited properties which backend system will be having, which you cannot edit or change at all. So based on the requirement, you have to select whether it is an account type of dimension or a category type of dimension or an audit type of dimension, entity, group, intercompany, or whether it is a currency type of a dimension, whether it is a subtable or time dimension or user defined. Generally, depending upon our requirement, we will create the type of dimension, and what are all the dimensions that are not forming part of any of these above will form part of user defined dimension. Now we will create
Krishna, question. What's the percentage we really copy the standard dimension? We don't, right?
No, we always copy the standard environmental shell only. Then first, when you log in into your implementation system, you will be having only one environment, that is called environmental shell. Always it is recommended not to use the environmental shell because that is the system defined copy.
No, I wasn't asking that. I was asking for dimension. Dimensions are SAP standard provided. They linked everything right. why we need to copy the standard dimension when they are working perfectly? When user-defined dimension, I understand it, but why we need to copy the standard one?
See, suppose here you are having an entity dimension. This is called company code. Say for company code we are creating this dimension. You want for another model the same entity dimension, entity type of dimension, but you want cost center. So you will create another dimension with entity property and create it as a cost center. So for one model you can assign this as an entity, and for another model you can assign cost center as an entity. So it's all depends upon your requirement, how you want to use it. That is why we will create the standard related type of dimensions also separately. Okay, now we will see we have created the dimension called test. This is the place where you will add your master data. So these three are system defined for a user defined dimension. Here suppose we will add ID called test1. See, this is the unique ID which needs to be created. You cannot have the same ID name again. It will show up error. The ID should be unique, and the ID is 32 character length. You can have 32 characters, and this is the description. Scaling is nothing but when you are doing your reporting, based on this your everything will columns will be adjusted, whether you want to have that or not. Once you have copied all your master data, or once you have entered your master data, first you have to save it in order to have, even though it is not storing into the database, by pressing save it will be copied in the user interface itself. Even if I close it, I can see that this is not stored in the backend database because the status is showing yellow. The status should be shown as green in order to have that in your database. So if I go inside, I can see these two. This will be stored in the user interface itself. Once I save and process, then only it will go into the backend database and it will store. When you save and process, it will always ask, do you want to take the system environment offline? So it's you can say no to that, because it is not at all recommended to take the environment every time to offline. When the dimension is not getting processed, then you may have to go and make the environment offline and then process this dimension and again go and change the environment to online. So I press no here. So the dimension has been processed. If you go and check this, you will see this has become green. So this is the dimension creation and adding the master data to that dimension. You have one more thing in this called structure of the dimension. Structure of the dimension is nothing but the properties. These are called properties, the columns. Depending upon your requirement, you can have as many number of properties you require. Go to the structure of dimension. You can add one more property. Go to add. I will add one more property called member. You can define what is the character length. I will define it as 10. I'll press OK. This property has been added into the system. If you want to have a hierarchy for this, you add it in this. You give it as parent H1. See, there is no limit on the number of hierarchies you can have. You can have multiple hierarchies also. Suppose if you are dealing, if you are having company codes, one hierarchy is dependent upon your business division. One hierarchy is dependent upon your region. So you can have multiple hierarchies And when you are reporting also, you can report it on multiple hierarchies depending upon your requirement. Suppose here I am adding another, I'll create it as parent H2 and I will save it.
So, so Krishna, I
Yeah.
guess when you're creating a new dimension,
Mhm.
so you would look at your master, the way you would organize this is you would look at your master data and figure out what members you need first, right?
Yeah, you are right.
And then from that point on, you look through your requirements and figure out what properties are required for those members.
Yeah, you are right. When we are actually doing the implementation stage, when we are in creating reports, templates, or when we are doing our script logic, at that time we may require some more properties needs to be added. Like the first day when I was discussing with you, I'm having say 100 GL accounts. Out of that 100 GL accounts, I want to look into only particular 20 GL accounts, which is forming part of different hierarchy nodes. If they are all part of one hierarchy node, I can select that hierarchy and I can select the base members. But it is happening in a different hierarchy levels. So what I will create is, I will create a property called, if it is for an input template, I will create a property called input template. And I will set those things as Y. When I go into my reporting, I am having a filter based on my property also. So there I will select that input and I will select input is equal to Y, then only display in this report. Then I can have only these 10 accounts displayed in that report. So
yeah,
whenever, depending upon your requirement, you can add number of properties.
and you can do that later on also as you...
Yeah, as a part of implementation, you can do it later on also. Property creation, there is no restriction at all.
So if we, Krishna, if we took the example of cost center, for example, like you were talking about the cost center example, and you define another entity, you take the entity, you copy the entity, you create the cost center.
Right.
So and then you go into your structure and you say, okay, I need to define some members for this cost center.
Right.
So cost center, I guess would be cost center would be dependent on company code, right?
Right.
And some of these other, so those would become the members, right?
Yeah, the company cost center, like admin cost center is there, and HR cost center is there. Admin cost center, HR cost center will become the member IDs.
Oh, okay. So all unique master data will become your member ID.
You are right.
Oh, not okay. So you would not create just an ID of a cost type. You would create HR, your ID 1. So you would say cost center 1.
Yeah.
And you will give description as HR cost center. And
yeah.
you will go and say cost center 2. And you will say this is admin cost center.
You're right.
So this is purely your master data basically.
Yeah, purely your master data. The ID should be unique and the ID should be given by your client itself, because we don't have any control on this master data.
Sure, sure.
The basic master data needs to be given by the client itself. Depending upon our requirement, we can add number of properties like this.
Got it. So
now
so based on your IDs, that would be dependent on the scope of the project to say, okay, we have 10 cost centers that we would look at for this project, right?
Right.
Okay.
The 10 cost centers will become part of your ID.
Your members of will become members, right?
Right. You will become member IDs. This is called ID. We will call it as member ID.
Okay, member ID. Okay. And then you would look at that data that you're pulling in and you would start extracting your required properties from there.
Properties will not extract. Properties will create it from this structure of the dimension.
Yeah, but I'm saying is like, how do you determine which properties you need? You would look at that data and your requirements, and you'll figure out how you would want to do that.
Right. You are right. That is the main work of your functional consultant. BPC functional consultant will tell you what are all the required properties.
And when we are going into these blueprinting sessions, we will be part of these sessions so we know what they are thinking, or they'll just hand over the requirements to us basically.
Actually, they will hand over the functional specification document and technical specification document. If we are a technical consultant, when we are doing the scripting, we may require to scope it in such a way that your script will work. For scoping purposes also, you will use this dimension functionality. The member property, you will add it, and you will scope it your all the script based on that property itself.
So,
I will say a simple example. Suppose you are having accounts. In my script, I am writing a script that script should only work on income accounts only, not on expense accounts. Then I will scope it based on the member property. I will show you in the account dimension. You will get to know that. See, this is called account type, right?
right.
Which is showing AST means asset, LEQ means liability, INC means income, EXP means expense. So in my scripting, what I will do is I will scope it when account type is equal to INC, then only run this script.
Yeah, I got it.
So for that purpose also your properties will be required. So it all depends upon when you are doing your implementation. Depending upon the requirement, you can add the number of properties you want. There is no restriction on the number of properties at all.
So Krishna, the projects that you have worked on, are you part of the blueprinting team, or there are different people?
No, actually I am a solution architect.
Oh, okay.
So I always be part of the blueprinting team, and I will be handling the project. For me, I will be supported by one ABAP consultant, one BW consultant, and one BPC functional consultant.
Oh, okay, okay. So as a solution architect, you're part of the blueprinting, but in a normal project, you may be just handed over the functional and tech spec, basically.
Yeah, you are right.
Okay, okay. So that's where we need to start. That is our base. That is going to be the document that would work off.
The blueprint will be your base.
Okay, okay. All right. Thank you, Krishna.
Yeah. See, what we have created the properties called member, and hierarchies we have created like parent H1 and H2. So this property I can add something called for differentiation. I am calling it as India, US. So this is only based depending upon your requirement. You can add that member property, and suppose I want to have a hierarchy for this. I'll create a hierarchy for this. So for these test 1 and test 2, the hierarchy will be test. Test is my parent node. So parent node will not have any parent H1. I will save it first and then save and process. Once dimension is processed, you can go and see that it has become green. Now, if there is two views that is possible, one is list view. In list view, you can update the master data. There is one more view called hierarchical view. Hierarchical view will show you what is the hierarchy. I have created test as a parent. Under parent, test 1 and test 2 are the child members. Here you have to see what you have to remember is whenever you are doing in BPC, the data entry is allowed at base level only, test 1 and test 2, not at parent level. So it's always recommended depending upon your client requirement, you have to see at what level they want to see the data entry. At that level only you create the base members. So top node should not be allowed to do a data entry. This is also part of your blueprinting where you will do what we will be your base members master data and what will be your hierarchical members.
So Krishna, if you have a hierarchy, so you're saying your data needs to be at the child level, right?
Yeah, your data entry should be at child level. Once you enter data, say suppose you are having data here at 100 and here it is 200. It will automatically show as 300.
Yeah.
You need not do anything. It automatic roll up in BPC.
So what if my hierarchy is 5 levels deep? My data would have to be at the 5th level, or I could have data up to 4 levels?
No, your data is always at your 5th level.
Okay. So rest of the stuff you're doing roll up only basically.
Yeah, right. It is an automatic roll up.
Okay.
And here if you see there are few more things like member and description. Member and description is nothing but your member ID and description. If you select only member ID, it will show only ID. If you select only description, it will show only description. Okay. This is once you want this data to be export to your CSV file, you have to just click on this, and you have to give it as test.csv. Again, you can store it in your desktop. If you want to send this master data to anyone, you can send it via this CSV file. This is how your CSV file will look like. So we have created the environment and we have created the dimension also. What I am saying, the environment offline and online, you have a setting called manage environments. If you select this, you have all these options like copy, change status, change description. You see change status button. You are having this option called to save it offline or an online. You have these options. When you are doing your transports and everything, you have to make it offline. And then after your transports is over, you have to make it online. Then click OK. Then if you want to change the description, you can change the description of your environment which you have been created. Then set template version is always the template version is set to 1. If you want to change the version of the template, you can change it. It will not create any problem. Just it will show you what is the status of it. And this will show what is the status and who has created it and what is the activity time, what was being changed. All these things will be shown in the environment creation user activity. See, here it will show the status whether it is online or offline. If I change the status to offline.
Excuse me, is this video recordable?
Yeah, I think it is recordable. I think you are given presenter rights, I think.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Because things is going.
Now if you see the status of this, it is showing offline. So once you make it offline, then only you can do the transports of your environment.
So,
yeah,
Krishna, on this transport issue, can you not make a copy of your environment and then take the copy as offline and use that for the transport instead of taking your work? You know, if you are working on something,
no,
is that not recommended, or?
It is not at all recommended. It is not recommended to take the copy. It is always recommended to use the transport mechanism. So the whole environment will get transported to the new environment, or after you have transported the environment, you have made some changes to that environment. Say you have created some more dimensions, some more models. It's all there is always, you can select only those models and you can send it to the next QA system or some other system. So there is a transportation at granular level is also possible. So it's always recommended not to take the copy. It's always recommended to do the transportation in transportation format only.
Okay.
You have another option in BPC that we will discuss in our later discussions. We can take the copy of the environment and we can restore back in the environment. But it is not recommended to use that functionality when you copy that from your dev system and restore in your quality system. But it is not at all recommended solution.
So even if you're doing a selective transport for your objects, you still have to take it offline, even if it's a small.
Yeah, you are right. Okay. In both the systems, you have to make it. Suppose you have transported, say, BPC 1 to 3 environment. You have transported from dev to QA. You are transporting only one object. Now you have to make the both the systems offline in QA as well as your dev system.
Okay.
Then only the transports will come. Sometimes it will happen, but the more chances of failure of the transports if you are not taking it offline.
So how long do you have to take these offline when you're doing these transport? Does it take a long time for the transports, or is it pretty fast kind of thing?
No, it's very pretty fast. It's maximum of 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. So it's not a big hit on the.
Yeah, it's not a big hit because anyway, these transports you will be doing only when you are doing your implementation stage. You are doing multiple things and sending. Once it is going to production system, it is only simple objects you will be changing and sending it to your production system. So it's always very less time it will take.
Yeah, I got it.
Because you are not sending the environment as a whole. You will be sending only certain objects.
Yeah, I got it, Krishna. Thank you.
Yeah. So we have discussed how to create this dimension and we can change the status of this environment offline or online depending upon our requirement and all. Now we will see how to create a model. So this is the model creation. We will create a test model. So if it is not supported, it will show in red color like which we got it now. Test model is not because space is not allowed in creation of model, so it is showing in red color. So I will create underscore. Then you have to go to the next step. Here, this is the main screen. Depending upon that, entire your structure will be formed. You are having whether it is a reporting application or whether it is a non-reporting application. Non-reporting application is nothing but your drivers and exchange rates will be stored here. Like non-reporting application, you are having exchange rates ownership. It is not recommended to use the generic application because in generic application you will not have anything. You have to everything you have to define it from scratch. So it is not recommended to use this functionality. It is recommended to use this functionality who are in the SAP development side, not from SAP customizing side. See, there are reporting application and non-reporting application. Reporting whenever we create any model, it will be a reporting application only. If we are doing a planning related thing, we will select it as financial application. If we are doing a consolidation related thing, we will select it as consolidation application. For financial application or a consolidation application, it needs to be supported by a rate application or a ownership application. these are non-reporting applications where you will not have any reporting on this, but these applications will support your reporting application. Suppose if you see financial, if I select financial, automatically the rates will be taken as non-reporting application and it will support the financial related things via these rates. Suppose you are doing the currency conversion, the exchange rates will be stored in the rates application, and that can be used in your financial application. That is why there is a linkage between the financial application and a rate application. Suppose you are doing a consolidation application, that needs to be supported by both rates as well as ownership. Ownership is nothing but all your ownership data like percentage of control, percentage of ownership in your subsidiaries, all those things will be stored in your ownership queue. So these two needs to be attached to your consolidation application. Here you need not do anything, it will automatically attach once you select whether it is a financial or a consolidation application. This is mandatory, you cannot change it also. And here you are having one more thing called data entry mode, whether it is a periodic data entry or whether it is a YTD data entry. If you are doing a planning thing, it's always a periodic data entry, because for that period only you will enter the data. But suppose when you are doing a consolidation thing, it is always year to date, because all your balance sheet and everything will be year to date figures only. Suppose if you are in May, your May figures will have April values also into the system. So at that time, for consolidation related things, it is always better to use the YTD application. So depending upon your requirement, you have to choose whether it is a periodic thing or a YTD thing. But the suggested thing is, for planning related things, use periodic. For consolidation related things, use YTD application. So now I am creating a planning related things. So it will be supported by a rate application. Then it will ask whether you want to copy it from an existing model which has been created, or whether you want to create it from the scratch. I am selecting it as a blank model. Suppose if you select from an existing model, it will ask from which model it needs to copy. It will copy all the dimensions that are existed in the in your thing. Suppose if I am creating from planning, I am copying it into from planning. I will select an existing model and I will select planning. What are all the things that are there in the planning application that will be copied into your test application? See, the planning application is having these many dimensions. So it will populate with these dimensions. If you want those dimensions, you can have it or you can change it. Suppose if I go into my previous step, if I select a blank model, if I am not copying from any of the existing models, it will show a blank screen. Here I have to select the mandated dimensions that are required by SAP BPC. If you see here, this is the main important thing. It is showing you must select one dimension for each of these following types. That is account, category, entity, currency, time. These are all the mandated dimensions prescribed by SAP. Without these dimensions, you cannot create a model at all. So first you have to select these dimensions. You can have multiple selection. By pressing Control, you can have multiple selection. Account, category, entity, reporting currency, and time. These are the mandated dimensions which is prescribed by SAP BPC. And if you want to add some other things like audit, you can add it. Audit or any other thing which you want to add, like we have created a test. You can add this also into your dimension list of dimensions. This is where I am saying the security for this dimension. you can select here itself whether the dimension is a secure dimension or not. This checkbox is required when we are discussing the security. We are having a twofold level security. One is at task level and one is at data level. The data level security will depend upon this. If I select one thing as a secure dimension, only that will be a secure dimension. Only the members of that dimension only will be part of your security, not all the dimensions. But the general way of doing it is, it's always recommended to view the security at entity level, not at account. Account level is not at all recommended. I am not creating anything as secure dimension now. I can create that as later also, if there is no restriction on creating the security. Then no content will be copied the new model because you are starting with a blank model. Since you are starting with a blank model, I am getting all the dimensions from the blank scratch model itself. So this is just showing what is the dimensions you have selected. I have selected category, entity, account, reporting currency, time, audit trail, and test. And my type of model is financial model. We'll press create. It will show model has been created. Just close this and load this. See, this is the test model which we have created. See, once you have created it, it's always possible to add one more dimension from here, but add or remove one more dimension from here before starting your customization. That is always recommended. And here you are having your work status, data audit, journal, everything as off. This needs to be enabled first, then only all these things will become on. These are all the settings that needs to be performed at the fag end of your project. So it's at the initial stages, keep it as off, because when you are doing your testing, there will be always so many problems will be occurred when you are doing your development stage. At that time, don't activate all these things. Activate these when you have completed all your developments, and when you want to move it to your quality, then just by click of a button, all these things will be activated. Within 1 hour or 2 hours, you can create your work status, data audit, and journal templates. To activate all these things, it will take half a day or maximum 1 day time. So it's always recommended to create these things at the fag end of the project. And if you see here, enable comments. Enable comments, if you check this button, it will enable the adding of comments in your input templates or reports and everything. All these comments will be stored in your comment table, and it will be retrieved from the comment table. You can specify what is the maximum length that can be allowed for enabling the comments. If you click on this button, it will show what is the maximum length. You see the maximum length is 1332 will be allowed. 1332 will be allowed as the maximum comment length. And use as source of data, this is not at all recommended when you are creating using the SAP related thing. This will be useful when you are using this BPC thing to connect it to some other thing and do it as your source data. Then only you select this checkbox. Here you have created everything, and if you feel that this is not an user-defined dimension, this is suppose an entity type of dimension. you can go and change it. Suppose you feel that this is a consolidation related model, you can go and change it now itself before doing any other changes. So you can do all these settings in model creation. Once model created, you can go ahead and do all these settings. Now there is no security on this. I will show you how the security works. See, this is the data access profile. In this data access profile, you will define what are all the access that needs to be provided. Like this, it will show you. So this is the secure dimension, and here you will specify whether you are having the access to all the members, whether you are having a write access, read-only access, or a denied access. Depending upon the security, you can select it. So once the model is created, you can go ahead and do your security settings also. Suppose if I create entity as a secure dimension, I have to just check this checkbox. This will also, this security related things will also be discussed at the blueprinting stage only. And in the blueprinting stage only, you will specify what will be your secure dimensions. And the security matrix, like which IDs needs to be secured, and which IDs needs to be given only read-only access, and which should be given a write access. This will be decided by the client and along with the solution architect, and they will pass on the security matrix to the functional consultants by giving a matrix level thing. Depending upon that, we will create our data access profiles and member access profiles, and then we will do the security level settings. I am making the entity as secure dimension. You go to the models and see. Now it is showing as secure. What is meant by security here is, suppose once I create the security for this model, it will show in my data access profiles. Test model. It will show I have secured the entity dimension. I have secured the entity dimension. It will show what are all the things that are available in the entity dimension. If you select this, you can select the members. or you can give access to all members. And what access you need to give, you have to select the access right, whether it is a denied access or read-only access or it's a write access. Depending upon the access you are providing, he can able to input the data, or he can only view the data, or he cannot access that part of the data at all. You can select all members, or you can select only a particular member. Suppose if I am selecting under world, only he is having Africa related thing. He can select Africa, and he can select whether it is he's having a write access or read access or only denied access. Like this, he can have the access set. Just save it, and depending upon your access right, all your things will be activated. So this is the administration related to environment creation, dimensions creation, and model creation, and assigning the dimensions to your model, and securing your models. Which dimension needs to be secured? Depending upon the requirement of the client, you will secure that dimension, and go into your data access profile. Go into your data access profile which you have created, and select your model. Depending upon the rights which you are giving, you will create this. Suppose you are having multiple data access profile, you will create multiple data access profile. Like here, you will create a new access profile and assign that to certain model. Say I'll create this as a test. I'll select members. I'll select right access, and I will save it. So depending upon your requirement, you can create as many member access profile as required. So you can delete this also at any point of time. You can delete this. Just select this and delete. If you want to copy to another one, you can just select this and copy. So this is about securing your model, creating your dimensions and environment. We'll go into the backend.
Krishna, can you click on it? Can you go back?
Sure.
Can you click on an administrator account and the ID? Admin? No, the admin ID, the secure admin ID. Go back, go back, go back.
Go back?
Yeah, go to configuration. What we're doing, admin, yeah. Go to administrator.
Yeah, go administration.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, go to access profile and click on the admin this side
one?
on the right hand.
Okay.
Yeah, click.
Okay. Yeah.
What is a team and users?
Yeah, yesterday we are discussing actually we will create users, and users will be assigned to teams. Teams will be assigned to this member access profile and task profile.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
I'll show you the screen. See, this is the security. It depends upon these two. These two are the security. Task profile, this is telling what task you are having access. Like you are having access to only input templates. So you will be given task profile of input templates only. Even in input templates, what level of data you are having access. Suppose I am having access to only Africa region. I will be getting Africa region input template only. And if I am having only US region, I will get, even though I am having input task profile, I can only enter data for US, not to Africa. These things will be decided here. Once you create this task profile and data access profile, you will assign it to teams. Teams will have users. This is how the security will work. Okay, is it okay?
So Krishna, one question on that. Can you go back to the data access profiles?
Yeah, sure.
And open the, oh, you deleted the test one already. So
okay, we'll create it, no problem.
No, that's okay. I can ask you the question without that.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, when you're going to the data access profiles, the only profile you're able to create are going to be based on entity only, because that's the only secured.
Yeah. At
right?
present, it's only secure. That is the only secured. If I go into this, if I make it say category is also a secured. Okay. Now I save it. Okay. If I come here, if I go to my model, it will show both the screens.
Oh, okay, got it.
Entity and category. You have to. So now this security becomes combination of these two.
Is it a union at that point, or how does that it determines? So
Yeah, it's a union. It's a union. Suppose here I'm having actual. For actual, for Africa region, only I can write with this member access profile. Okay, you can have multiple conditions based on this. If you want to security on multiple dimensions, you can create the security on multiple dimensions. There is no restriction.
So if I had Africa as a write and actual as a read only, what would it do? It would use the lowest of the two?
Yeah, you're right. What it will do is for actual, you will have only read-only access. Even though Africa, you are having write access. Since for actual category version, you have only read access, you cannot write to this.
Yeah, yeah.
There are other members are there, right? Like actual, budget, forecast. He can write to this data against this plan data. He cannot write. Yeah, he cannot write to actual.
But he can write to other ones.
Yeah, he can write to other ones.
Oh, okay.
It's restricting it this level.
Oh, but so it is. So for each of those things, we have to define carefully whether it's read only or write.
Actually, this we will not define. This client will provide you.
Yeah, yeah. Once we get the security matrix from the client,
depending upon that, you have to create what will be your access rights and all.
So your task profiles, you will first work on defining your task profiles first, and then you will go right?
There is no restriction whether to create a task profile first or a data access profile first, because you will create only task profiles and data access profile. The assignment to this will be the major thing. See, if you see the team assignment, you will assign which task profile he is having access, which data access profile he is having access. So you can create individually task profile first or a data access profile first. There is no problem. The assignment should be there.
So if we had a project like you were talking about, if you got a security requirement from the client saying, I want to make a distinction I want to segregate people that work on input templates. I want the people that are working on reports separate, and I want people working. So, and then within that, I have 4 groups that are, let's say, Africa, Asia, India.
Right.
So in that case, you would go ahead and create 2 task profiles, and then put those.
4 or 5 data access profiles,
right,
depending upon the requirement.
Okay.
And you will assign it to the particular team or a particular user, depending upon your security levels.
Right. Yeah, if they have already an HR segregation, then we can use that as teams, and then we'll assign users to those teams, I guess, right?
Yeah, you are right. Even if they are having the existing NW authorizations, if they are already having ECC related things, for ECC related things, they have created their own teams like finance team, admin team, HR team, who are having limited access to that. You can use the same team's concept here also, without having any confusion to the client.
Oh, I got you.
It all depends upon the client how he want to create a team also. Depending upon his requirement, he will create the number of teams. Like suppose he will create data entry people as one team, report viewing people as one team, and super user as one team, because super user will have edit functionalities also. Like this, he will create the number of teams that are required for him, and he will specify what are all the task profiles that are required. He will specify what are all the data access profile is required, and he will say that for this team, assign these task profiles. For this team, assign these data access profiles. So we will create in such a way that the security will work on that.
So Krishna, is it assumed that the client would have this knowledge, or do you walk into a place where they don't know much about BPC?
Yeah, that solution architect will work on that. Okay. Solution architect along with the client IT manager will sit, and the solution architect will explain what is the task profile and what is the data access profile, and he will then they will decide which dimension needs to be secured. Based on that, they will look into that dimension members, and they will select whether this member is having right access or a read access, whether this needs to be having a denied access. That they will sit and do that matrix.
Okay.
That client education will be done by a solution architect.
Oh, okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
Krishna, just now you copied one dimension, right? Suppose a BW team member asks the BPC consultant, in the back end, whatever you created is correctly there or not, show it to us. So how do we show?
Okay, I'll go into your backend system. You have to go to RSA1. This is the info area I have created, BPC underscore 123. If you see that, that will be shown as info area. Under info area, I have created a cube called test underscore model. This is the cube that is created for model, and I have created
you created two dimensions, right? Test and test 2.
No, only one.
It's all the way in the bottom, test.
Only test we have created. You see here, test is created. I have created a hierarchy for the test. So it is showing the hierarchy, and I have created the attributes for that. So it is showing the attributes also. So this is how it will be created. I have created only one test
dimension.
Yeah, test dimension. So it is showing the test in your backend system as an info object.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? somebody is asking about transports. I'll show you where the transports will be. This is the latest thing in transports. Till 7.5, you can transport only one environment at a time. Not granular level transport is not available. And the transport system is also totally different. There you are transporting using a T code. Here it will be through transport connection. It is like your BW transport system. The same system has been assigned to BPC also. Suppose if you do like this, you can select this and you can transport it. The same transport system is useful in BPC also now. So because of your BW transport system, now granular level of transportation is also possible.
So Krishna, when you take that object at the InfoCube level,
yeah.
when you transport that, like the example you were just showing in BW,
yeah.
It would take all the info objects along with it at the same time.
Yeah.
Based on that.
Actually, when you are first doing the transports, it is always advisable to transport the entire model at a time, entire environment at a time, first time.
Okay.
Because as I said, there is so many dependencies. For model, there should be dimension should be existed first. For dimensions, there should be info area first. So for dimension, there should be master data first. So there is so many dependencies are there. So if you are transporting say only models, you are not transported dimensions. But models will have dimensions. So your transport will fail automatically. So what is recommended procedure for transport is first transport the entire environment to your QA system. Then when there is any changes, that time you use the granular transport. So that all your master data, metadata tables have been already there in your QA system. So the only newly created objects will be moved without any problem. So there will not be any dependency errors.
So good point, Krishna. So, but when you're first doing the first transport and you're trying to do the whole model,
the whole environment.
Yeah, the whole environment. You will still come to this BW. You will still go to RSA1 and you'll go to that info area.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, and then you would use, you would select that and you would say transport basically at that.
You're right.
That level.
The checkbox will be at top level.
Okay, got it. Yeah, actually, on the BW side, I do not know much about the transport. So, are you going to Are you going to cover that at some point, Krishna?
Yeah, sure. At the end of the thing, we will cover how the but we cannot transport it to another system because it's only one system.
Yeah, no, I know.
But we can show how the transport request will be created.
Okay. Yeah, that would be good. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
But all the transports are done at a BW level, in a BW system, not at BPC, right?
Yeah, you're right. At BW system, somebody is having access to the transports, he can only do that.
Oh, okay.
Generally, it will be given to a functional consultant who will generate the transports, and the transport request number will be given to the basis consultant. The basis consultant will do the importing into your QA system.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
I'm still confused about the dimension. So that
sorry, I didn't.
Korean. Go back, close that. Yeah. I'm still confused by the model I got, a dimension, I'm still confused by the IDs and that. Under the ID, that you could have let's say about account. You could have more than one account under one ID, right?
No. See, account is the dimension name, and the IDs is nothing but the master data. So suppose if you are having account, all your GL accounts will be there, right? Like assets, current liabilities, cash, all these things will become part of your IDs.
Okay.
So IDs will always be unique. This is similar thing which you will have a master data in your transaction system. In your transaction system also you will be having IDs, right? Depending upon IDs only you will be doing your transaction related data. For this GL account, this will be the balance. The GL account will become the ID. The same concept here also, the ID is same. The GL account will become the ID.
Okay, is this same just like the financial item in ECCS? Where we have a financial item, then we have the child, then we have a child to the we call it parents, and another child. Just like the in ECCS, we have the organization layout, then the organization layout. You have another layout underneath.
Yeah, correct. In ECCS, you will call it as FS items, right?
Yes.
The FS item is nothing but a GL account. A group of GL accounts will be called as FS item. The same concept will be here.
Oh, okay, now I got it.
Yeah, there you will use it as a character, whether it is a character or a key figure, right?
Yes, yeah.
Here, what are all the things you are creating as dimensions? Everything will be characters only. The key figure will be measures.
Got it. Now I am. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
So Krishna, you brought up a good point, I guess now.
Okay.
So one question I had was, so your characters and your key figures. So the key figures will also, I guess, I understand like the dimension side. So what happens to the key figures?
See, key figures, as when we are doing the model creation, you could have observed. See, this is the key figure. Whether you are storing the value as a periodic value or a YTD value. This is called key figure. So whether the data is a periodic value, suppose you are having data for April and May. April you are having 100, May you are having 200. If you are storing the value as a periodic value, you will store April 100, May 200. If you are selecting as a YTD application, you will select April as 100 and May as 300. Combination figure. The YTD value will store. So this will be the measure how you will storing the data. There is only one key figure allowed in BPC.
Oh, there's only one key figure, and that's the periodic dimension. That's the periodic.
Whether it is a periodic or a YTD, that depends upon your requirement.
So if I am trying to create a planning model for, let's say I am doing boats and I'm doing cars, and I'm trying to figure out, I have 4 regions that I work with, north, east, west, south.
Right.
And then I'm trying to correlate, and I have sales figures by categorized like that. And I am trying to do some inferences like that to see whether I should reduce the inventory on boats or cars or whatever, right? At that point, the sales, the measure, which is the sales figure,
right?
That you would also create that as a dimension, or what level you would take that?
Yeah, the sales will become the GL account.
Right.
And suppose your for your sales is say 1 lakh.
Right.
That 1 lakh will become your measure.
Right.
So whether if you are having a periodic value, month-wise you will have that. I will show you in one Excel. It will be more clear. See, suppose you are having like this April, May. We are using the periodic concept. 2000. You will be storing the data like this. Suppose you are selecting your application as YTD. You will be storing the values like this.
Yeah. But my question was, Krishna, was at the level. So my boards and my boards and card.
Yeah, I'll tell.
Okay.
I'll tell you. Yeah.
Okay.
You are having sales, right? Yeah. Sales for April, May, and all. This will be your time. Right? Suppose you want to see it for your division, car division. So car will be your division. For cars, for sales, for April month, this is the value. Like this it will be stored. When you are storing a record, it will be like this. Sales, car is your division. This is your account. This is your division. This is your category like actual. Sorry. Actual. This is your time. Time is say April. This is called signed data or amount. This will be stored as 1000. Like this, one record database will have record like this.
Okay.
So when you are, this will become the dimensions. This will be the dimensions. And this is your transaction data.
Yeah, I got it.
So based on,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, based on these dimensions, you can drag and drop whether you want account. Suppose you want to have a similar report like this. You want to see car division, what is my sales and all. You drag accounts, drag the account dimension into rows, and the category dimension and time dimension in column, and as division dimension in column. It will show for car related thing, this is this. Suppose you are having cars and parts also. It will show like this, cars and parts. Say this is 100, 200, 300. It will show in two separate parts. Cars will have this many months, parts will have this many months. Like this it will show. You want to see the comparative report also, cars and parts, you can see it side by side by bringing the division dimension into your column.
Yeah, yeah.
This you will get to know more when we go into our Excel workspace.
Okay, okay. So Krishna, good example, I guess. So in this particular case, your account, your time, and category is already there. So you would define a user-defined dimension as division in this case?
Yeah, user-defined dimension as a division in this case.
And then signed data is already, I guess that would be another one then? Or?
No. Signed data is predefined by the system. This is nothing but a key figure. No need to add by ourselves. This will be there in the system itself.
And you can only have one key figure per row level?
Yeah, one key figure. Suppose you are entering the data for May, you have to enter your flat file like this.
Oh, May, April, June. Okay.
Yeah. Like this it will be.
And if I'm doing a plan versus actual, there'll be one record for plan, one for actual, basically.
Yeah, you can do like this. Like this.
Yeah.
One record for plan April, one record for actual April.
So Krishna, one question here. You talked about the actual data, and actual data is normally coming from the ECC system.
Yeah, so this is only actually I told it for only basically for example. Generally it will be coming from your transaction system.
Right.
You can have that transaction system data loaded into BPC via flat file, or from bringing it into your ECC system to directly do BW and BW to BPC.
So when it goes to the if it goes to the BW, then the BW. So it's going to be like a, so that's where we were talking about a little bit yesterday also, where it's going to get into BW and then it's going to again get into the BW different info area like for the BPC purposes?
Yeah, actually it will be storing under different BW cube. From BW cube it will be pulled into your BPC.
So, okay, so it's like a cube to cube transfer kind of thing. That's what.
Yeah, you are right. Cube to cube transfer. See, these are called your BPC cubes.
Right.
If you see the technical name, it will be starting with CPMD.
Right, right.
So these are your normal cubes. Here there is no normal cubes. Actually, it will be starting with these are your normal cubes. So from this, it will be transferred to your CPMD cube.
I see. Okay. And there
so,
go ahead.
Yeah, you are telling something.
Now I was going to say there you can write more transformations also, looks like.
Yeah, there that is what I said. No? When you are doing a BPC project, you require your BW consultant and ABAP consultant help also.
Okay.
That's where as a BPC consultant, what we have to tell is in our CPMB cube, what are all the dimensions or info objects that are available and how this needs to be mapped to your original info cube. So that mapping will be done by your BW consultant, whoever will be there. And if there is any routines needs to be written, that will be developed either by a BW consultant, or if it is a complex routine, it will be developed by your ABAP consultant.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay.
Krishna, any dimension, can we have a two properties as a key?
No, see, every dimension will have ID only one column as ID. Properties, n number of properties you can have.
No, that is okay. ID. The reason why I'm asking is like, if you have a plant and company code, in normal SAP scenario, like oh,
the linking you are saying. For this plant, this is the for this company code, this is the plant. Right?
Correct, yeah, or like material group kind of.
Yeah, suppose if you take this as a company code, your dimension as company code. For this company code, you will create one more property called your plant. And for this company code X, the plant is say ABC. You will write it like this, and when you are doing your input templates or reporting, you can bring this property in your input templates using the EPM functions. So whenever the user selects say the plant X, it will always show the company code X, the plant will always show as ABC.
No, that is okay. Like if you have like many to one relationship, you can do that. I'm talking about like many to many relationship, like same ID if it exists in two. Let's say here you have BS000. So if it exists in group 1 and also in group 2, so that time you get the duplicate key.
Yeah, you can
key.
Yeah, you cannot have duplicate keys.
So that means you need to combine group and ID together into ID.
Yeah, or else how you need to have a separate hierarchy you maintain a separate hierarchy and in that hierarchy you make it that way depending upon group, or else you bring that plant also as a dimension. What you are saying here is, suppose company code and plant. Company code is X is belonging to plant 1 and X is also belonging to plant 2, right?
And Y belongs to plant 1, that also I'm talking about.
Yeah, Y belongs to plant 1. Then in these situations you create company code and plant as two different dimensions. Okay, two different dimensions, and when you are storing the data it will ask for all the things. So for X you select P1, for Y you select P1. The data record will be stored like this then. So you will have a unique record based on your combination of company code and plant.
Okay, but my properties like company code has its own properties and plant has its own properties, right?
Yeah, you can bring that. See,
no, let's say company code. There is one. One of the property of company code is let's assume that type. What type of plant it is?
Okay. So see, for each company code there will be only one type of plant, right?
No, there are multiple plants. Say X has P1 and X has P2.
Yeah, that's what we will be creating those things as a different dimension.
No, I'm talking about the master data itself as a company code as a separate master data.
Yeah, correct.
At that time, company code X has two different plant types, the plant models, like plant 1 and plant 2.
Yeah, that's why we are creating it as a different dimension, plant.
Yeah, when you talk about transactional data, I do agree. Like company code X.
When you are having master data in such a way, you are defining company code and plant as two different dimensions. You have to maintain your transaction data for each dimension. So you have to specify company code X, plant 1. This is the value. You got it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to ask you, like the compounding functionality in BPC.
No. Compounding functionality will not be there.
Yeah. So if we really need, maybe we need to go for the concatenation.
You can concatenate, or you can have two different dimensions. It all depends upon the
transactional data perspective. Yes, as you said, like you can maintain it.
See, all the BPC or any analytical tool only works on your transactional data. How you want to have your transactional data analyzed will always be depending upon your analytical system. When you go for your transaction system, you can have a combinations or everything, because here in multi-dimensional thing, what it will happen is I can look into plant 1 related data. If I am looking plant 1 related data, I have to get company code X and Y data also. So that combination of data, if I want to get, I can't have a compounding facility. I need to have a different dimension. Based on different dimension, it will pick up the values, whatever is required. So if you take any analytical system, it will work in this way only, whether it is a BPC or a Hyperion or any other thing. There will not be any compounding of master data.
Okay.
Can we try that later on when we do a flat file upload and see all this process?
Yeah, sure. When we are doing the flat file upload into BPC system, we can check all these things. If we can, you can try at that time. You can try loading some transaction data which is not there in the master data. It will throw up an error. It will show that this master data is not there.
Cool. Thank you. That's a good example.
I think
But Krishna, I think that in general, that is the premise for all analytical systems, right?
Yeah, it is the premise for all analytical systems. You cannot have compounding of master data.
Yeah, no, or you have to have master data before you can do the transactional data.
Yeah, that is correct.
I guess I think Asif had brought up a good point. So when you're doing a cube to cube transfer, and you're writing your transformations, I guess at that level, so I guess at that level, the transformations are going to do majority of the work to get the data ready in terms of how you want to absorb it in BPC, right?
You are right.
Okay. So these transformation rules, are they going to be a responsibility of a BPC consultant, or we just need to say this is what data we want and how they get it there? That's a BW responsibility.
Actually, it is a BW responsibility to bring it into the BW cube in the format in which BPC can absorb.
Okay.
Once the data is ready in that format, we will absorb it into the BPC system.
Oh.
Generally, how our projects will run here is, whenever we are going for a BPC project, we will generally take a BW consultant and a ABAP consultant also onto roles when we are doing the development for 1 month or 2 months. So all these things will be performed by those consultants, and they can leave the project. That's how it works.
Okay.
Because these are a separate individual task which needs to be performed by those individuals only. As a BPC consultant, we do not know backend BW system, how to bring the data from your ECC system to BW system, how to retract your data. These are the things which BW consultant will be doing. And some routines needs to be written, which we cannot do that. So that requires an ABAP help. So it's always helping hand from ABAP and BW is required. Depending upon your development, they will be onboarded for 1 month or 2 months, depending upon your requirement.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sounds good, Krishna. Thank you.
Yep. Mr. Kiran has asked,
Krishna,
how does, yeah. 1 minute. Mr. Kiran has asked one question. How does the reports get transported? When you transport the entire environment, all the reports that are there in the environment will also get transported into the new system. Compounding option in dimensions. Kiran, we don't have any compounding option in dimensions. Yeah, somebody is asking question. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Krishna, actually, when you regarding the reports, you said like we can transporting along with the environment. That is okay. But later, like once you initial environment is being transported to test system, then later you created some reports. Then again, if you want to transport only that particular reports.
Only the particular reports. Actually, we have not tested anything like that. I think we have to select at object level. We have to see at what object level the transportation is available. The granular transportation, if it is available at report level, we can transport at report level. Actually, we have not tested that till now. I will check once and I will let you know that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
So a question about the mapping of the BPC to BW, the info app.
Yeah.
Do you have? Are we going to go through that, or do you have any material which we can see ourselves later on when we work with BW and what we need to map?
We can give a material only because that requires your ABAP and that requires your BW consultant work. It is not part of your BPC curriculum.
I understand. Thank you. If you have a material, that will help. That's all.
Yeah, sure. We will share that how to bring the data. But from BW cube to BPC cube only we can give the data. From ECC to BW, that is not part of our work at all.
No, that's no problem. That's how I understand. I have no problem with that one.
Yeah, sure. From BPC cube to from BW cube to BPC cube, we will share you that material.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Can we end the session?
Yeah, none from my end, Krishna. Thank you. It was a good class.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Finished. It's a long class, huh?
Yeah. It felt like forever.